I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be showing you how to work with the image component. This is quite a famous component which you'll be using a lot, right, in your projects. So let's get started. Obviously, I'm like creating a new project folder for this because I'll be showing you how to import the image from local files, right? I already taught that in Windows lectures, but I think most of you uh, might have seen that, but some of you might have skipped it. So I'll like teach it again. So let's get started. Now there are two ways of using an image. One is like taking local files, and the other is providing URLs where it will first download the image and then it will display it. So let's first work with the local images, right? Like loading it from local files. So what you need to do is first click anywhere here and right click on it and click on add new, then choose the Qt option and then the Qt resource file option. Now, what's a Qt resource file? Any file which is unrelated to C++ and QML and JavaScript, like any other file, like music file, MP3 file, or MP4 file, a PDF file, Excel sheet, like CSV files, or any TXT file, any JSON file, which you will be using in your application, any third-party file which you will be using in your application, like if you want to show a video or an image, music file, like if you want to like display like a CSV, so you just take a CSV file, like so any external file which you want to use in the application is a resource. So we'll be setting that. Click on this. Now choose a name. I'll like name mine resource. I've seen people using multiple resources, one named image, one named font, but I think one resource file is good enough for a small project, right? So click on finish. uh, Click on OK. uh, I actually deleted it before. Like you'll see a new line added here, resources and resource.qrc, and you will see a resource.qrc file added here. Right now, there are several ways of like adding resource. One way is to open in plain text and adding RCC code. The other is like right clicking here and opening an editor and adding prefix. But I'll show you the easiest way of working with it. I think uh, first what you need to do is click on main.kml and show in explorer. It will show you where it's located in the application, like in the hard drive. Mine is located in D drive, and I'll do is I'll create a new folder called images, and all the image which I'll be using from now on will be saved in this folder, so it's easy to understand, right? So I already have an image downloaded. It's a gradient. I'll like go back to my application in images. I'll paste it. Now you need to add this in Qt. So go to Qt Creator in resource.qrc, right click on add existing files and choose the image which you have like saved. As you can see, like the image is loaded, right? If I double click on it, I'll just scroll out of it so it's visible, and if I zoom out, you can see that the image is completely loaded. Now I'll go back to main.kml, and here in image I have an image component. I want to use this back.jpg image, right? So what I'll do is first I'll say, hey, the source will be this one. Now right click on it. There are two options, copy path and copy URL. Go with copy URL because it's a QML file. If this was a C++ file, then you have to copy path, but for QML, the UI part, copy the URL. So I'll copy the URL and paste it here in double quotes, right? But anything which is a component in Qt needs to have certain width and height to be visible, right? If you don't provide any width and height, it will not take any space, it will not be visible. So I'll give some width and height. Instead of that, I can just say fill parent, so it will completely fill the parent window. The parent of this image is this window. It will completely fill it, right? So now when I run the application, you will see that even though I had included this one, it won't be visible yet for some devices. Yeah, it's visible now because I actually added the line. But if it's not visible for you, you need to add this flag, set CMake auto RCC on. In the CMake list file, in the CMake list text file, set this flag, set CMake auto RCC on. What this does is, uh, if you go to the code directory which you have, it will copy all of these resources into the build folder. What's the build folder? This is the build folder for our application, right? This is what happens when we compile and build the application. You can see build.ninja, cmake.txt, and all this stuff, right? So when you compile and build the application, all the code is copied into this build folder, right? Now what this flag does is, it will also copy all the external resources into the build folder. Otherwise it won't be like visible, right? So you need to set this flag, set CMake auto accessory to on, and yeah, then you are done. So now when I run the application, I can see the image. Uh, if I run it again, you can see a white screen, and then the image loads. Right? I'll show it again. It's for a very brief amount of time, but you can see a white screen and then the image loads. What happens is, I'll explain it to you. Let's say this is the entire window. We said that the image will cover the window, right? Now let's say this is our image. Here, let's say we have a stick man, right? Now let's say this is 4 MB in size, right? What happens is, initially we don't have any image. Then it tries to load the image, and then when the image is fully loaded, it displays it on the screen. So there are three steps. Like, first there is no image, then it tries to load, and then when it completely loads, it displays it, or there is an error, then it sets a flag called image.error, right? So three steps. Now, for in many applications, if you have observed, like when you are loading an image, you actually add a loader, right? So this pinning animation will go on and on, and then when the image loads, this loader is this loader disappears, and then you will see the actual image, right? We'll do that when we work with busy indicator, component called busy indicator in Qt. But right now, I think we don't need to do that. uh, but yeah, I will show you how it works. There is a event which fires when the state changes. What is the state? Let me show you. Sorry, the status, right? What's the status? uh, these are all the states of the image, like lifetime, right? As I said, like when we have an image, first there is no loading, right? There is no image. Then it tries to load an image. uh, just a minute. Yeah. One. Okay, never mind. But actually, sorry for that. I think my whiteboard broke. But there are like few stages. Like, first, there is no image. Then it tries to load, and then when the image is fully loaded, this status is image.ready. I'll show you. When the status changes, there is a uh, signal emitted called on status change. See, we can see that status says that this property holds the status of the image loading. Right, when there is no image, it says image.null. Then it tries to load the image, so the status is image.loading. And then if the image fully loads, it becomes image.ready. Or if there is an error, like if you provide any broken URL or any broken link, then it will show image.error. So what we will do is, on status changed, so first this is null, and after that, after null, when the status changes, we'll like print it. So I'll say console dot log uh, status now is, and let's run the application once. Okay, I think this flag will not be actually make sense to you. So instead of this, I'll do an if else condition. So I'll say if status equals image dot loading, we'll say console.log. This is a JavaScript method to print something. So we'll say image is loading, else uh, if the status, instead of double equal to, try to give a triple equality operator. It's a strict checking, right? It also checks for the type and the value. So I'll say if the status equals image dot ready, and as you saw in the documentation, ready is when the image is fully loaded, right? So we'll say image is done, or image is loaded. Now let's clear the screen, clear the output, and let's see. It says image is loaded. Okay, let me see. There is loading and there is ready. I think for local files, the process is so fast that I guess this phase is not like reached. I'll show you this in when we load the application from an online URL. Like when we load the image from any online URL, I think that will be more visible. Let's see the second approach, right? This is first way. uh, this is when we load the image from a local file. The second is when we load the image from a URL. So I already have an image URL. I'll copy this one, and in the source, as you have guessed, instead of the local file, we'll provide the image URL. And then when we run the application, give it some moment. Yeah, as you can see, the image has loaded from the this URL, right? And if you see the output, it says image is loading, and then image is loaded, right? So when we provide a website link and any URL, like to down, what happens is it will download this image and then it will display on Qt, right? So it takes a quite a bit of time. That's why the two states are like so visible. So anyway, you can also give an image like website link, any image URL link, or you can like add a local file and then copy the URL for that here, QRC file URL, and then paste it. So these are the two ways. Now I'll show you another important like property of image that will quite be handy and useful to you. So let's take this image of Gojo. Anyway, let's give this image URL and let's run the application once. Yeah, the image is loaded. Now if you observe, what happens is the image is stretching, right? To fill the exact width and height, the image will stretch, so the width will be equal to, like, it will like break a lot, right? Now this is one thing, like, but if you don't want the image to be stretched, like as you can see, Gojo is becoming quite wide now. So if you don't want the image to stretch, there is also another flag for it. So this is called fill mode, right? By default, it's image of stretch, so it's scaled to fit. And the other popular one is image of preserve aspect fit. Now let's see what this does. What this does is it will like preserve the width. Like for example, if you increase or if you decrease this width, you can see that as the width decreases, the height and width decrease in equal proportion. Like let's say if you increase the height by 10, the width will also increase by 10. If it's unable to do so, then the height will also not increase. So I'll show you what this is. So it's a fill mode. So the property is called fill mode. And if I set the fill mode to be preserve aspect fit, let's see what this does. You will see a white screen, right, when you increase the width and the height. Yeah, as you can see, uh, the screen is white. That's because the, if you also decrease it, you'll see that the this is the actual dimension of the image, right? When you try to change it, it will see that is it possible to increase both the width and the height. For example, let's say we do something like this, right? We increase diagonally. So since it's possible to change both the width and the height by the same amount, it will work. But if you only increase the width, it won't be possible, right? And if you only increase the height, it's still like, if the width remains the same, and if you only try to increase the height, it will also not work. So preserve aspect fit is nothing but preserving the aspect ratio. Like for equal increase in width, it will also increase the height equally if possible. If not possible, you will see a white like portion because the image will not expand. So that's that. And by default, it's image dot stretch. So it will try to fill everything by stretching the image, but it will not look good oftentimes. So choose whichever you feel like, right? There is also something called preserve aspect crop, but I have not seen anyone use it. But it will try to crop the image to preserve the aspect. And yeah, that's that. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll show you how to work with buttons and mouse area. After that, I'll like build the first project. uh, it will be same as the project you've seen in the older video, and after that I'll work with more advanced options. Like there is a busy indicator, a loading screen, if you may think. uh, we often use it with conjunction with the image. Like if the image is loading, we show a loading indicator like a spinner, and after that when the image is loaded, the spinner vanishes and the image is actually displayed. So I'll show you all of that when I teach you the busy indicator. So till then, take care and thank you.